Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Monster Plays, a show in which we take a dive into the weird and obscure and just typically games that you don't typically see normal people playing on YouTube. I'm your host, your favorite escaped madman, loose on the airwaves, terrorizing your eardrums, Matt Schaefer, and today we're here with Miami Vice, the game for the PlayStation Portable. Now, this is an interesting game, a game that's very important to me. I'm a huge fan of the Miami Vice television series. I started getting into it right before pandemic hit, and just binged the shit out of it when the pandemic hit. And then I also discovered this game existing. This game is not directly based off the TV series. It is based off of the Michael Mann 2006 film adaptation of the TV series. And I just became obsessed with it. This was one of the big things that helped me get through pandemic. I have an affinity for weird licensed video games and games with big concepts that don't quite pull them off, but if there's a style or an idea that I can get behind, I become obsessed with them. This game, I cannot defend this as a great game. I can't even say that this is a good game, but Miami Vice for the PSP is one of my favorite video games, and it's easy and it's short, so I thought this would be just a fun little side project for the Monsters at Midnight pantheon here. I'm going to start a new game, go on the hardest difficulty, because even on the hardest difficulty, this game is almost laughably easy, and I am bad at every video game. I'm going to play as Tubbs, just for variety's sake. I usually play as Crockett, and most videos you find on YouTube, they play as Crockett, so why not? We'll play as Tubbs. Let's get into it. I am excited. So we've got voice acting. Got no mouth movement. This is obviously emulated, so it's upscaled. But I do actually own a PSP and a copy of this game for the PSP. I think canonically this game is actually a prequel to the movie, although it really has no connection to the movie at all. Pretty standard cover shooter with stop and shoot mechanics in the same vein as Resident Evil 4. Because if you don't remember, the PlayStation Portable only had like one weird little thumbstick thing. It didn't have like dual analog controllers. Dual analog sticks, rather. Probably gonna split this playthrough up into 3 parts, because there's, for what I consider to be like 3 chapters of this game, and it has to deal with what drugs you're busting in the Miami area. Game also just has a kick-ass, moody, and invigorating soundtrack. I don't understand. There's a lot of weird quirks with this game. The guns have some weird RNG mechanics that you just can't quite figure out. But, like I said, this game is not incredibly challenging. So I wanted to do something like this for a while, because it is kind of still in the vein of podcasting, but with a visual element that I can do relatively easily. If I can think of things to say. Talk about Miami Vice a little bit. There's a couple of Miami Vice video games. I guess one of the more famous ones was released in like either the late 80s or early 90s for like Commodore 64 and other home computer consoles, directly based off the TV show. Also during pandemic, I found out that there is there was a Miami Vice game that was released for the PlayStation 2 and PC, but only in the PAL region, so only in Europe. And what I've come to learn is that this certain sort of notorious publisher in Europe just acquired the rights to a bunch of different shit and a lot of like 80s properties. Because the same publisher also released this like notoriously awful Beverly Hills Cop game for the PlayStation 2 only in Europe. And I did try to play that Miami Vice game, which is again based off of the TV show. It had promise, like the main menu emulated the opening credits of the TV show with the iconic Miami Vice theme song, and at least appeared to acquire the likenesses of Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas with like some sound-alike voice actors, but it is just like unplayable. The game is one of the worst video games I've ever played. I couldn't even get past like the first level. It was just so obtuse and the controls were so busted and just remarkably not fun to game. Or to play, rather. And like I said, I can't necessarily defend this game as what you would call a good video game, but this might as well be Gears of War or Resident Evil 4 compared to that fucking video game. It was so laughably bad. That same publisher was also behind those notorious, like, fake Disney licensed video games that were coming out for the PlayStation 2 in Europe that were just like mainly a collection of shitty little puzzle games, with the majority of the disk space being taken up by the weirdest like cartoons you've ever seen in your life. If you're on the odd corners of the internet like I am, you probably know what I'm talking about, but look up Animal World Soccer Tournament, I think is what it's called. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is hysterical. So there's a few things that need to get done while you're just committing horrible acts of police brutality, which realistically is what we're doing here. There are drug stash locations represented by the marijuana flowers on the map here, and there's also these things called the flash ram, which I just picked up. These are really just the collectibles that are important in the pseudo open world. Open world is the wrong phrase for it, but those things are important in like the preparation in between levels, I guess you could call it, which we will see in a minute here. But I just, something about this game really speaks to me. It does a good job of emulating the sort of lo-fi, dreamy, surreal quality that the movie has, with its like bloomy, sort of washed out colors, and this, I cannot overstate how much I fucking love the soundtrack for this game. I think it suits it perfectly. This game is also interesting because it does share at least a little bit of, and also like the worst submachine gun in any video game. This thing is fucking useless. I don't even know why I try. It shares some DNA with the TV show, and the voice acting is really goofy, and something that we'll probably see later. It's very traditional, like, drug dealer sort of goonish type of voice acting and representation, and I actually really like the voice actors for Crockett and Tubbs in this game, even though, like, Wikipedia erroneously claims that they are the likenesses for Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell were acquired. That is just simply not the case. They, like, vaguely resemble Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell, but, like, they look about as much like Philip Michael Thomas and Don Johnson. So there's like a shared DNA with both the movie and the TV show. Whether it was intentional or not, I think is pretty cool. And it's just like, this is just like gameplay-wise a pretty solid loop. Everything works again with barring the weird like RNG shit with the guns. Sometimes it seems like dudes can just take like 5 bullets or 2, and I know headshots do make a difference, but not much of one it ever seems. I think the level design in this game is really cool. It's got a good balance of like the seedier Miami underbelly and these like super glamorous locales that we associate with Miami and with the TV show and the movie by extension. I've also played, like I said, I was obsessed with this game during pandemic. I played the shit out of this game, so I don't even really need to check the map anymore for like drug locations. But also like this game is pretty fucking linear. There's one, maybe 2 levels that play around with like multiple paths, but they all like sort of lead to the same place. It is a very linear shooter, but you figure people were playing this on their PSP. Oh shit, I might actually die here. Wasn't even paying attention to my health. Which is cool. There's a co-op for this game, which is fun. You can also emulate co-op with this through some trickery with the PlayStation Portable emulator, but obviously it would just be done like over local connection. Co-op, like, I mean, the game starts with you choosing between Crockett or Tubbs, but like it's pretty much a reskin. They do not play differently at all. And co-op is even more stripped down because all the interesting stuff you can do in between levels is just not a part of co-op. So we get our stat screen, all of this, what weapons you use and how many, the suit you're wearing and how many first aid kits you use. All of this contributes to your rep, which is sort of like your player level for like being undercover. There's some good ideas in this game that don't super come to fruition. So now, like, the whole concept of that first level is, like, we are saving an informant who's now going to be working with us, and there's, like, virtually no story other than what you're seeing on screen at any given point. So this is the, like, in-between level, like, overworld thing we've got. Overworld, that's what I was looking for. There's a few things we can do. We can go to our informant, and we can use the drugs that we found to buy information. Because the first level shows you all that stuff on the map, it will not show you this stuff on the map. I'm going to buy the CCTV shutdown because you need this code to turn off security cameras in the levels. The only other one that's really worth buying is probably the flash RAM location and the drugs, but like I said, I've been playing this so many times that I pretty much know where everything is. You can go, alright, so there's a few things we can do, and this is where, like, contextually this game sort of falls apart. I understand what the idea is, but there's, like, dealers on the map that you can go and do a deal with, but because, like, you're not actually, like, there's no, like, mechanic to actually, like, arrest these dealers, because you're an undercover cop, it truly just looks like we're just selling weed to, to the fucking dealer, which I just think is hilarious. But you have X amount of days. You start with 16 days, and visiting a dealer uses up a day. Oh, I guess I sold all the weed that I had. That's fine. So, and then you're gonna want to use that money to, like, buy upgrades and stuff. I could have sworn I had. Oh, I did have more weed. You go to your depository in the police station, and then we're just gonna, whoops. We're gonna just, no, I don't want to buy that. I want to sell. There we go. Okay, so now we've got like $1,400. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna upgrade shit. We're gonna upgrade our pistol completely. Stops at level 4 for whatever reason. We can't upgrade the shotgun yet. What we're gonna want to do is go. This is what the flash rams are these stupid little hacking mini games that just absolutely do not belong in this game. They're tedious and boring, and I fucking hate them, and they're also going to be the only time that you see me use save states, because if you fail one of these sequences, you have to start the entire fucking thing all over, and I'm just not about doing that. It's just this weird little arcade game, and again, like, it is cool that they were trying to come up with different things that you can be doing, because I think they might have realized just how repetitive the core gameplay loop is, but this just sucks, and I hate it. But you unlock different upgrades for your weapons, and eventually, like, the big bosses for the local cartels that you can meet with and get even bigger, like, cash buyouts with the product that you're selling, which, again, we'll see later. But it's cool. There's a lot of different neat ideas that actually do make this feel like a Miami Vice video game. That being one of them, where it truly feels like undercover work. But again, it never has a payoff or comes to fruition, so it just looks like you're a bent cop that's just selling fucking drugs on the street. It's a funny little game. God, and this one just takes fucking forever, because you just have to wait for it to line up correctly and move across the screen, and I hate doing these, but they're absolutely necessary. Well, they're probably not absolutely necessary. I'm sure if you just wanted to speedrun this game and not do any of the upgrades, it would be entirely possible, because, again, like I said, this game is not difficult at all. But it makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion. Now we can at least get the first upgrade on our shotgun. I don't think we have enough money to upgrade anything. Yeah, we only got $6,000, and I believe, yeah, it is $5,000. But we got our pistol fully upgraded and our shotgun upgraded, and so I think we don't have enough money to buy either of our suits here. So this will give you a reputation bonus, and this will give you an armor bonus, but no reputation bonus. Again, not difficult, so we're going to want that suit. But what is so funny to me about the big ideas that this overworld has is that within the first couple of levels, it all just breaks. The economy goes out of whack. Everything is way too cheap. And by, like, not even necessarily the halfway point of the game, you're, like, fully maxed out with your equipment and your suit, and then you're also just going to max out your rep, too, because there's, like, a hard cap at rep level at 320 for whatever reason. It's just, like, an arbitrary number. I don't fucking understand why that was what they went with, but yeah, now you'll see that our pistol magazine is now 20 capacity. We start with full, like, ammo pool. And the pistol just does more damage from the jump, in theory. Again, it's hard to tell. But here we go, into the garage. Shotgun in this is a lot of fun because this game uses a very quaint mid-2000s ragdoll engine that will just never not be satisfying watching dudes just fucking fly across the universe. Of course, it's a video game shotgun, so it has no accuracy, so you'll see we'll be switching back and forth between pistol and shotgun, essentially using the pistol as a sniper. Getting that weed. Can you say that on YouTube? I don't know. It's been a million years since I've uploaded anything to YouTube. Oh shit, I was out of ammo. Didn't even realize. Where the hell do you go? Yes. Boom. I am judge, jury, and executioner. This is not how police works. And also, just like, it's kind of a slap in the face of everything that Crockett and Tubbs are about in the movie and TV show. About how they are... I mean, the morality, obviously, of them comes into question, especially in the movie, but there's a handful of episodes in the TV show that deal with it, too, about the nature of undercover work and blurring the lines of going too far under, but... You know, everyone in that show is pretty by the book, and there are repercussions, especially in the TV show. A lot of people think that the TV show is basically just like this goofy, pastel-colored 80s cop show. But there's actually a lot of darkness to the TV show because they treat the reality of undercover work and police work with a lot of seriousness. And so a lot of the episodes end with a lot of, like, exercises in futility or sort of, like, downer endings, which I appreciate a lot. It doesn't try and sugarcoat things. There is some silliness to the TV show, undoubtedly, but... So in the TV show, where I was going with is there are a lot of repercussions to the fact that... if things go wrong or things aren't done by the book, there are consequences that need to be dealt with. And that's also sort of the central arc of Crockett's character in the movie, too, is he has to deal with the fact that he's falling for, I can never remember her name, Isabella, Gong Li's character in the movie. He's falling for her, and she's on the opposite team, as it were. Cool movie. It took me quite a few watches to fully appreciate what it was going for, but I absolutely adore the movie now. It's a dreamy, surreal, just gorgeous digital dreamscape dealing with loneliness and darkness and an internal struggle. That may sound kind of pretentious for what the movie is, because I know a lot of people still don't dig on that movie, which I get. It's not a perfect movie. The movie is almost a little too reliant on the idea that you would have seen the TV show. And I also still don't think that Jamie Foxx or Colin Farrell have good chemistry together at all. Like, I don't believe that those two like each other, let alone have, worked undercover together for however long. But that's it's just the way she goes. It's so hard to recapture that magic, because Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas just have such great chemistry in that TV show. So yeah, we're already racking up our rep here. There's really no until we max out our rep. I'm essentially going to be using just a pistol and shotgun because it's going to mean more rep. It's not until we max out our rep that I'll start using the bigger weapons, just because, again, for variety's sake, and it'll be fucking fun. There's an assault rifle in this game that just tears ass. Again, just going to do the CCTV shutdown because that's really the only one we need. And we're going to offload our product, main. That's probably not appropriate. I'll stop that. I'm sorry. Go back to the deposit. You're going to be doing a lot of this. Another interesting idea that this game has is that as the days pass, certain drugs will be worth more or less. So you can buy drugs on the cheap and then sell them for max profit. But, like, again, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't amount to a whole lot. But there was a deliberate attempt to some depth here. And I'm just going to different drug dealers just for fun. It really doesn't matter. The early ones, you'll notice, like, will only sell MDMA, weed, and LSD. And then the later ones will start to sell the more dangerous stuff. We're gonna go max out our shotgun here. Boom, baby. And we still don't have enough money to buy the suit yet, but that's okay. We probably will after this next mission. We're gonna fucking hack, and we're gonna get the SMG upgrades. I never use the SMG because it's not good, but you're forced to use it in the boat levels that sort of cap off the segments. So it pays to have it fully upgraded, but it's never a priority. And I, like, literally never even use the carbine, which, it's a weird gun. I think it's supposed to be silenced, but, like, stealth in this game is not a super viable option, even though, like, in the intro it shows you that you can melee people. It always seems like no matter what you do, as soon as you enter a room, every bad guy knows exactly where you are. Almost forgot to make a save state. Again, that's the only time I'm going to be doing this. The constant debate of save states, like, I don't have a problem with using save states, especially if it's something weird and archaic, because I play a lot of weird and archaic video games, and a lot of video games that have either, like, shit checkpoint systems or no checkpoint systems. I have no issue with using save states. Especially since, like, a lot of old PC games have a quick save function. Like, I don't know, play the game however you want. I don't agree with this, like, sort of gatekeeping mentality that you need to play it straight and you need to play it on the hardware. Like, it's 2023, bro. Save scum all you want. I don't give a fuck. I've been known to save scum a time or two. That was the only way I could actually beat Splatterhouse 2, which is an awesome, gnarly, horror-themed platformer for the Sega Genesis. Oh, is that the famous screaming cat I hear? Dude's been acting weird as fuck recently. I think he misses his mother. Oh, I need to hurry my ass up here. Alright, boom, yay. SMG upgrades. It's fucking so boring, dude. And we are on to the next level, the airfield here. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip through that. Again, not like it even really matters. I'm sorry if I skipped through the last one too, I'm just so used to it. Alright, so what we're gonna want to do is, I had to do this on the last level too. There's this first camera here that we're gonna need to shoot, otherwise more dudes will spawn in, which again, not a super problem, but it's just annoying. It isn't until we get to that CCTV shutdown that every camera on the level will be off. I cannot Get over. Like, the soundtrack in this game has no right going this fucking hard. It is so good. Cool blend of like industrial beats and hip hop sounds, and that like just sort of like sunburnt guitar that isn't heavily featured in the movie, but makes me think of the movie. There's a couple of pieces of music, and some of the licensed soundtrack in that movie has that sort of that sunburnt, reverby guitar. Fuck. Missed him. I'm the worst cop. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. This shotgun will just shred you. Oh, hey, buddy. Shotgun will shred you up at close range. Best not to get too close to it. Is it just me, or does it look like this level is, like, running at a lower resolution? Yeah, maybe not. It was just... This game has this sort of, like, blurry, bloomy post-processing effect that really shows up when you're playing it on the actual hardware. Everything looks really smeary, which I kind of like, because it again is in service to the sort of style that the movie had, whether it was intentional or not. It's hard to say. That's fucking cool. Cover system. Cover system that kind of works, sort of works for the most part. Police brutality. Let's blow up a fucking building. Hell yeah, dude. Video games, am I right? Sort of like the ongoing debate about, like, James Bond video games, where you're essentially just a mass murderer, but... I mean, unless you're doing something truly like, I think if Miami Vice could work as, like, a stealth game with a lot of, like, RPG mechanics. I think it'd be cool. I know it's almost a cop-out to say something like a Telltale game, but I think, like, the dialogue options and your choices matter would be important for a game that is about undercover work, because building those relationships and gaining trust would be a cool mechanic and something fun to experiment with. It's just, especially for a licensed video game, it's always just easiest to make it like a third or first person shooter, which I get, and they'll always sell. I have no idea if this game sold at all, but this game was also published by Sierra and developed by Rebellion, and Rebellion was sort of a powerhouse of PlayStation portable titles in the aughts. I know they did a lot. I don't know off the top of my head what they did. It's possible that they handled the PlayStation portable, I don't know why I'm saying that, the PSP port for From Russia with Love, but I could just be dumb. But so they were in the money, from what I understand. I have no idea, and I have no idea if there's any way of finding out how well this game sold, because the movie didn't do super well at all. It was actually kind of a flop, from what I understand. Like, it made money just on the name recognition alone, but it was not reviewed super well. It was, did I get the flash RAM? I don't remember if I got the flash RAM or not. Let's fucking finish this level. Alright, assuming that I made an edit there, which I might, I couldn't remember if I picked up the flash RAM or not, and I realized that I 100% did, because it's in the very first, like in the very second room of this level, and I just ran like pretty much all the way back to the start of the level, only to remember that. So, if there was an obvious cut, that's what happened. But we have now finished the airfield and just destroyed more public property, because we are a super cop. And we are already almost a third of the way through this game now. Which, yeah, like I said, this game is not long at all. This game, if you're really taking your time and, like, kind of getting into the overworld stuff, this game will still run you about 3 hours. If you really just wanted to clip through this, you could honestly probably beat this game in like an hour. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, hacking. Yeah, so now we've unlocked the Weed Baron location, which is just a funny way of saying it. Drug Baron? I don't know. It seems like I've never, outside of the context of this video game, I don't think I've ever heard a cartel head referred to as a baron. More boring ass fucking arcadey ass bullshit that just does not belong in this game. Like this background is these like red and blue backgrounds, I think are supposed to emulate the trailer for the movie, which had these like stylized like they look like police like lights flashing, and the trailer used that sort of like stylization heavily for the movie rather. Found out recently that there's actually a trailer for this game too that uses like clips from the movie interjected with fucking like gameplay footage. It's a weird trailer. Licensed video games were weird. Like movie licensed ones. Like you don't see a whole lot of like proper movie licensed video games anymore, which I kind of miss. But also kind of not, because like I disagree with the sentiment that like I've seen so often. It's like, oh, like almost every movie licensed video game is shit. It's like that's just not true. It's just a lot of them were, and that soured it for people. Alright, so yeah, our informant is locked because we are about to like finish the weed section of this game. So we're just gonna sell all our product to the Weed Baron here. This is just another, like, I conceptually love this. In practice, this is also kind of a frustrating part of the game, too. This is essentially just a balance the bar mini-game that you can make easier or more difficult for yourself depending on how you act. Like, see, if I act aggressive, it's going to give me more rep, but it's going to make the bar harder. If I act diplomatic, I'm going to lose rep, but it's going to make the bar easier. It's only sometimes challenging, and especially like once you get to a certain rep level, you can pretty much just get in and out of at least the Weed Baron pretty quickly. The Coke Baron is always a pain in the ass. It's just, it always seems to be fucking fussier, which I get because it's like the stakes are much higher. You're not gonna regret this. But yeah, this is another aspect that reminds me of the TV show. Like all of these cartel heads just sitting reclined in a chair smoking a big fucking cigar. It just seems very silly, especially in comparison to how grounded the movie is. But yeah, we just got a ton of money, more than if, and a ton of rep, more than if we were just doing this shit on the street. So we should be good to go to at least get, yeah, a couple of upgrades here on our rep suit. Then we're gonna go with the Everglades.
Customs intercepted the smuggler plane. If you're going in there, seize its dope cargo. There's probably enough incriminating evidence to keep a grand jury busy.
Which we'll never see because we're going to just nuke the whole place, because that's what we do in this video game. Pretty colors. I don't know. I'm a style over substance slut, as you probably know, if you're familiar with me and the podcast. And I think this game just nails the style.
Reports the Zopounders are already in the area.
Must be looking for the same
Nails
thing
the
as
style.
us.
It truly does feel like a Miami Vice video game. And I apologize, these boating segments do not emulate super well. They run at a significantly lower, like, choppier frame rate. But these are, again, oh shit. Yeah, I don't really need to pick up all these drug stashes. I just, the lizard brain wants me to. These are fun. These are, again, not challenging in the slightest, but fun little ways of breaking up the action. I think it would have been cool if there was maybe a car chase level or two, just given the history of Miami Vice and cool-ass cars are, like, synonymous, and the Ferrari that's used in the movie that you actually saw in that Weed Baron cutscene, I think it'd be cool to have, but I'm sure they had a pretty limited time frame and budget to actually make this game, so the fact that there is this much variety and big ideas is honestly kind of commendable in general. So yeah, the fact that we have these, like, cool little boating levels with particle physics and explosions, it's nice. It is much appreciated in my Miami Vice game. Give me the weed. Oh, please, give me the weed. Fuck it. I don't feel like driving around. If I was by myself, I would absolutely drive in circles, but because I'm recording this, I just missed another one. It's fine. It's truthfully fine. We're still gonna have plenty to get information from Freddy and sell some to our Weed Baron, or Danny Trejo looking ass dude. It's interesting playing this in co-op. One person controls the boat and can shoot, but the other person is just like stayed stationary and can shoot. I'd like to play this game co-op again. It's an easy way to burn an hour with a friend. Maybe like an hour and a half.
Nothing, man. Just dope, money, dead Haitians, and more dope. Ever get the feeling you being played? Time we had a serious talk with Freddy about who's working for who here.
I like the voice actors. They've got charisma. Again, feel like they're more emulating the style of the TV show than the movie. But yeah, so we still got plenty of weed here. And rep is just climbing and climbing.
We're hearing more and more about a new
But
cartel.
that is going to conclude sort of the first part of this game. So I think I'm going to end it here. In the next episode, we will get set up for the next level here, which is one of the cooler levels in the game. Offload our product, and we will probably be able to max up our cool reputation suit, and we're just gonna coast. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment we've got going on here. Leave a comment, like, subscribe to the Monsters at Midnight YouTube channel, and also listen to Monsters at Midnight The Revenge wherever you find your podcasts. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, my tender lumplings.